How to learn more Chinese characters. 7 important ways. Introduction. I have heard from Chinese people saying that Chinese character is the soul of Chinese. Learning Chinese characters is extremely important when you are trying to learn Chinese. Yes, this is so true, because there are many meaningful stories behind Chinese characters. One must learn them to understand more about Chinese culture and language. Also, without learning the Chinese characters, it will be very confusing to learn Chinese for foreigners. Chinese characters are also a special part of Chinese culture. It is not only a cultural phenomenon, but also a tool for carrying and disseminating culture. It is loaded with a large amount of cultural information. It is the Han nationality that has created, transmitted and preserved information over a long period of time. The symbol system for writing Chinese came out. The structure of many Chinese characters shows the life and consciousness of Chinese ancestors, and reflects the values, survival methods, thinking characteristics, customs and habits of the Han Nation. Check out why you should learn Chinese characters. 1. Read more books. The first and most important way to learn Chinese, of course, is to read more Chinese books, because the book represents the legacy of the wisdom passed on to us by the ancestors of mankind. We accept this legacy, and on this basis, we can continue to carry forward, and on this basis, we can build a deeper and greater knowledge. The reason why human beings are different from other animals is that they have language, so they can pass their knowledge to others, and then to future generations. Reading books can definitely greatly help you to learn Chinese characters. Read a book 30 minutes every day. Your Chinese will improve extremely fast. How to read books. Honestly speaking, for a beginner Chinese learner, reading a Chinese book seems too difficult for them. But don't worry. Actually, the reading is process of your learning Chinese steps. Even you don't understand most of the Chinese characters, the characters will stick in your mind. Later when you learn these Chinese characters, you can easily remember them. 2. Read dictionary. In the first grade, elementary students learn pinyin first and then learn literacy. When they learn to write, they have the foundation for literacy. When entering the second grade, students should use the amount of words they have learned to write simple pictures and pictures. When students are in the third grade, they have to do Chinese exercises to accumulate knowledge, and there are many words they don't know. Therefore, students have to look up the dictionary by themselves to learn the words that they don't know, so as to master the new ones they have learned. Reading a dictionary is so fun. There are so many interesting information can be found in a dictionary. You won't feel boring at all when you read a Chinese dictionary. It's simply like reading a Chinese storybook. 3. Practice writing. We know that practice makes perfect. Learning Chinese characters is the same. Spend 30 minutes every day. Practice writing Chinese is one of the best ways to learn Chinese characters. Reading books can help you quickly learn new Chinese characters, but writing the characters will help you remember them in your mind for a longer time. Practice more. Practice more calligraphy, and move your hands more. In fact, you are activating your brain, which is good for thinking about problems and making the brain more flexible. How to practice writing. First, you can copy what you have learned in your class. The most times you copy the Chinese characters, the better you can write them nicely. After a few times copying, you can start to write them without looking at your books or notes. See how many Chinese characters you can write, and how many of them you got them wrong. Then copy those Chinese characters again and again. Then you can start writing simple sentences. Later you can even write a simple story. Don't worry about making mistakes, of course. Humans make mistakes. It is very common. 4. Read Chinese newspapers. I use news to raise children. They become better, which is by no means a joke. In the rebellious teenage years of my eldest son, no matter how polite, rude or pleading I spoke, he would not listen to me, so I used news as a weapon. If you don't believe what I said, then read the newspaper. I will take the newspaper and let him read it by himself. For any good stories about life lessons, I will save these newspaper clippings for the children. I make my opinion in bold, clearly marked. In an instant, the son had no more fighting power for debate or confrontation. This is an effective tool for him to close his defensive mouth, after which he will behave like an obedient dog. Reading the newspaper will help you to learn Chinese characters, because we know that learning should be under a fun environment, and newspaper will attract students' attention because it has many great information that we want to explore. 5. Watch videos. Watch Chinese videos with subtitles will help you to learn Chinese characters quickly. You can easily find many Chinese videos online. Most of them have subtitles. Try watching the videos and reading the subtitles. If there is any new word that you never learned before, pause the video and write down those new words or Chinese characters. Try to watch 2 to 3 videos online. You will find learning Chinese characters with videos is super fun and easy. 6. Find a Chinese tutor. Obviously, this is one of the best ways to learn Chinese, but to be careful when you choose a Chinese tutor, you must choose a good Chinese tutor. A good Chinese tutor will make learning Chinese fun and effective. Within 3 months, a good Chinese tutor can help you learning 500 Chinese characters and make simple sentences in Chinese without any problems. Finding a good Chinese tutor is a great way to quickly learn Chinese language. 7. Make flashcards. Making flashcards is important when you learn Chinese characters. Flashcard is a good tool to learn new words and new Chinese characters, especially for beginners in Chinese language, since it is very easy to make and study. With the mobile phone's help, you can even study your flashcards when you take the bus to the school or going back home. Try to make 20 to 30 flashcards a day, and study them every day. In conclusion, learning Chinese characters cannot be done in a night. You need the above effective ways to do it. It takes some time to grasp those difficult Chinese characters, but once you know it, you will find that reading and writing Chinese is actually not as difficult as you thought.